Okay, I've got another Ask Steve, and it's a really great question from Tyler in the US of A. And the question is, at what point did he make the change? Did you make the change between to being a full-time musician, and how do I see the relationship between technical skill and playing by feel? Well, not many people know that, but I've never had another job, unfortunately. I've always been a musician since I was, I left school. I kind of left school in a bit of a huff during the sixth form, and my parents sort of basically said at the time, "You've got to go and get a job." And my good friend Gary Wallace, to cut a long story short, flagged up that Glenn Tilbrook and Chris Difford were looking for a drummer. And I went and played on their musical, jukebox musical called Labelled with Love at the Deptford Albany Empire. And at the end of that, I was out of work for a week when I got the audition for the Style Council. So in the meantime, I was always playing, I was always gigging, I was also always doing dances and Conservative club and Labour clubs and Liberal clubs and working men clubs and Irish clubs, just constantly playing. So I never really did anything else, which is lovely, because that's now, almost 45 years, sort of 40 years since I did my first gig, my first paid gig. So I only really know this, and that does scare me a bit, because I do wonder what I would be able to do. Though, I quite like a window cleaning round when I get a little bit older, but only bungalows. Technical skill and playing by feel. Well, one is nothing without the other, and playing with feel and emotion is, in essence, what music is all about. Over technically playing, for me, is like a craftsman, somebody that is really, really good at doing something very, very special, but literally goes in and just throws all their tools over the floor. You wouldn't do that, as a craftsman, as somebody a good woodworker or a good sculptor, or anybody that's really good at what they do. That you take kind of a pride, and you pick the right tool for the right job, and you keep your tools nice and in tip-top working condition. So that's the technical aspect of it. But you keep that toolbox under wraps, and you just kind of dip in and take out what you need, because it's up there. It's your expression, your voice is the most important thing. Some of the most amazing musicianship and drummers is not achieved by technical virtuosity, although there are amazingly technically brilliant, proficient drummers. My lovely wife, Sally, I took her to a drum show once, and there was an amazing drummer playing, and I can name the name because it was Keith Carlock. And I said, "What do you think of that drummer?" And she said, "He's absolutely incredible. He sounds amazing. It's brilliant. It's, what a fantastic player." And then there was another drummer, and I'm not going to name because it doesn't, it's not fair. But I said, "What did you think of this guy?" And she said, "It just sounds like a jar of bees being shaken," because there was no musicality to it. It was just, incredible technique. So essentially he just opened his toolbox and just chucked it all over the floor. And that's the difference. You've got to rein it in, and you've got to use technique sparingly, but you must at all times strive to have a voice. That's the most important thing.